Hey, Internet, YouTube, comic book fans, comic book readers, comic book aficionados, collectors, and adults of all sizes, shapes, and ages. This is Anthony Sika. I'm here with my good buddy. Hey, Agent DeCamp, joining me tonight.
Yes, how you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing great. I guess we're both experiencing some storms tonight.
Oh, yes.
So remember, if you lose me, stay on. I'll come back on, and vice versa. We might be joined by some other guests this evening, but hey, today's show, by the way, to kind of explain, tonight I was going to have a Misty America launch party. I was going to have Chelsea Ann Bamford, who is my cosplay cover model. But you know what? She promised. She says, I'm going to be on the show tonight. That's her. She says, I'm going to be on the show tonight. I wrote it down. I promise. But then it was like, oh, my boyfriend went out of town and I have to manage his restaurant tonight and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, no fault of hers. Work is work and play is play. However, for those watching, I may have her on again Saturday, and it will be maybe, 10 o'clock this Saturday. I don't know. I might do a stream. I'm going to be appearing on several streams. I'm going to be appearing on the Comic G-Spots program at like 1 a.m. on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'll be on the Extreme Nerd Table if it goes down. And then the next day, Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be on with a bunch of blokes from over the pond, over the sea, over the water. I'm going to be talking to some madmen across the water in the United Kingdom on a show called CG UK Bargain Bin. And I'm going to be the featured guest that night. And actually, I got some stuff going on the following week. Again, why am I doing this? I'm trying to raise money. I'm trying to get over $1,000 on my Indiegogo campaign for Misty America. I have the link to the campaign in the information down below. And while you're here, the 3 people watching, please press like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Next week, I got a very special show. I'm going to be doing a movie review with my normal cast of Kung Fu movie guys. We're going to be doing Demolition Man. We haven't done a movie review in about a month, and I'm bringing the band back together to do a movie review of Demolition Man. But tonight's broadcast, unless you live under a rock and you're a comic fan, you probably saw that DC released a young adult comic book this week, a graphic novel called I Am Not Starfire. Now, I have come to the conclusion that a lot of times comic books by Marvel and DC and Image and IDW and Boom and all sorts of labels, even some comic skaters out there who are pushing their Indiegogo books. Not every book is for me. Not every book is for Agent DeCamp over here.
No.
Not every book is for everybody. That's why art is subjective. That's why fantasy and sci-fi and comic books are so wonderful. Because guess what? We all have certain tastes. We all have certain likes. We all have whatever. However, this book that was put out by DC, and again, I'm not going to talk negative about it. I'm going to spin it into a positive thing. It's called I Am Not Starfire, and it stars a girl named Mandy. Mandy is a goth, pierce-nosed, weird freckled, short hair, lesbian. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Looks like she has a skin condition too.
Extremely overweight child. And she is Starfire's daughter. By the way, never mentions a dad or a husband in the story, probably. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And then this kid is just, the whole point is, I am not Starfire. I am not my hot, popular, famous Teen Titans mom. Now, this is a trope that's in every comic book. Hell, Hamlet, dude. I got to live up to the expectations of my parents that I can never do. I get it. It's a worthwhile thing. I get it. But I'm not even upset about the subject matter. You know what I'm upset about? That every single character in the comic book is grotesque looking. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying it's Mad Magazine, Cracked Magazine, whatever grotesque looking. These people are beyond Steven Universe, bean face, ugly artwork, crap color, everything. You know, I don't get it. My thing is, so I titled this show, I Am Starfire. And what's so funny is, as I was going through my my interwebs on my phone, I noticed this art germ shot of Starfire. Now, I have no problem with diversity. I have no problem with representation. I have no problem with anything. But I got to ask, Agent, when did it become in vogue to draw comic book heroes? And by the way, comic book heroes and heroines, male and female, when did it become in vogue to make them look so hideous, so normal? In that kind of art standards of comic book drawing, writing, whatever, Agent, you and I could be a comic fight. We could be a crime fighting duo, and look at the shape we're in. I mean, come on, it's like, hey, let me look at some bald 50-year-old semi-overweight dude. Yeah, that's great. That's a great comic. Now, that's all I'm saying. See this? This is Starfire. All right, I'll let you. Well,
I actually have a more modern version of here somewhere in the stack I put aside right here. I mean, this is the way they drew her not that long ago. She still looks rather voluptuous. She looks good. Here's the line art version. Sure. Sorry about the glare.
And again, this is a no-brainer.
I think a lot of it started, I believe, in 2017. I mean, look at this. By J. Scott Campbell, who they tried to cancel recently. I believe a lot of it started around 2017 when a lot of these SJWs started getting into the industry and they're looking at body positivity. They're looking at, hey, I want somebody that represents me in the comic books. That's not what comic books are for. Comic books are for fantasy. They're for you to say, gee, look at these people. They're like in peak perfect shape. That'd be nice for me to aspire to, but I don't expect to see me in the comic book itself. I want to see a ripped Batman. I want to see. Let me see who else I got here. Where was it? Here we go. Here's a nice Batman. Nice Jim Lee Batman. Muscles popping, ripped. Of course, uber rich, which I am not. Stuff like that. I want to see things like that. I mean, look at First Man. Here's a Bart Sears cover. These are all the muscles you can possibly imagine in the human body. There's no way real people look like that. Even bodybuilders, they don't look like that. And this body positivity stuff is just for the birds. That's not what we're here for. If I want to see that, watch an after-school special. But I'm here to see stuff that I'm interested in. I want people to be appealing. Because although there are people out there that do like the gravity challenged people, that's not what really brings in the bucks. Who's the bigger star in TV? I mean, in movies, would it be Scarlett Johansson or would you rather have Roseanne Barr? You know what I mean? That's what I look at.
Well, you hit it on the head there, Agent, because I see a lot of conversation online and even a conversation I had earlier today about, oh, well, what is this, the fetishizing of, hey, Captain Comics. Captain.
Ahoy.
Captain Comics. Captain, if you want to join the chat, send me a message via Instagram. I'll send you a link. In fact, I'd love to get your wife Tori's opinion on this stuff. But again, I'm trying to be positive. To be honest with you, Agent, and anybody watching, it's not that I'm not glorifying, even though I am most of the time, the 90s extreme. I have 8 million muscles on top of muscles from Brussels and all that. But the idea that all of the characters being drawn now, even by independent books, Image and IDW, not Dynamite. Dynamite's still, giving us those Vampirellas and Barbarella and all kinds of, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And by the way, how old is that character? John Carter from Mars character?
Probably that was 30s, wasn't it?
30s, exactly. Yeah. Now, on those Pulp Fiction covers from the 30s, if you remember, all the men were very manly and all the women were very feminine and gorgeous.
Yeah.
You brought up a good point, Agent. The idea that it's about making money and it's about advertising. You will, if you pick up a woman's magazine, although it's more diverse now and diverse by body shapes and things like that. But let's face it, when Angelina Jolie is on the cover, or it could be one of the Kardashians, or Kendall Jenner or somebody, or a movie actress like Scarlett Johansson, when they're on the cover of a magazine, they're put on the cover to sell magazines. Right. And Melissa McCarthy, who I think is a wonderfully gifted actress and funny as hell, she's not selling magazines by her appearance. She's selling them by her talent because she's a funny actress.
Right.
Jack Black, okay, who I adore, is fat and funny, okay? He is not starring opposite Jennifer Lawrence in a newest romantic comedy or action movie that would be reserved for Chris Pratt. Okay. Indiana Jones, whether it's in 1980 or whether it's in 2021, 2, 3, whenever they get I guarantee you every lady in it is going to be attractive and they're going to be physically fit because they're playing in an action show. Remember the old days? I'm going to bring up TJ Hooker had Heather Locklear. The Fall Guy had Heather Thomas. Baywatch, of course, that's a totally different thing. But like even the A-Team, hell, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have their April O'Neil. Star Wars, Princess Leia was not a dog. There is a reason that you and by the way, Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill weren't dogs either.
Correct.
You are not putting James Earl Jones with his mask off as the star of Star Wars. It's not going to sell any tickets. It's not going to sell any comic books either. The I am Starfire. Starfire, created by George Perez and Marv Wolfman. George Perez's image of Starfire is curvy and orange and sexy and and kind of playful. Then you have the overt, Brian Pulido, Stephen Hughes, Lady Death, she, Cyblade, you're talking about Billy Tucci and Mark Silvestri. And out of that very comic came Witchblade. She again, Michael Turner, Fathom, Razor and She, Razor, Kabuki. And by the way, no one wants to see a frumpy, fat Supergirl.
No.
Okay? No, I don't care if she's a brunette, if she's an alternate world Supergirl. I don't even care if she's African American, Asian. I don't care. But she better be physically fit if she's going to be a superhero.
Right.
In a movie or a comic book. Tony Daniel. This is his first original comic, the 10th. Okay? All right, yes. These women are small-waisted. In many occasions they're large-breasted Starfire's not. There's nothing overtly sexy. She's Barbarella, alien Barbarella kind of chick. Nothing wrong with that. However, I want to show something. Here's a little cool stuff. Okay. Fully dressed. Okay. Jessica Drake, right? Spider-Woman. Drew. Okay. Thank you, Agent. Okay.
No problem.
First appearance of Spider-Woman or second appearance of Spider-Woman. Here's something very cool. Before she was Hellcat and before she was Tigra, here's the original the cat.
Greer Nelson, yeah.
Okay. Greer Nelson. I got the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Only 4 issues. All right. Marie Severin. Wally Wood, by the way, penciled this first issue. Okay. And the epitome of when I was a kid, the whole balancing act of strong but sexy. Okay.
Yes.
There you go, right there. Yep. John Byrne's She-Hulk graphic novel before he actually drew She-Hulk, as in the series, and before she appeared in Fantastic Four, she was the perfect balance of both sex appeal and strength. But do you understand what She-Hulk's about? She-Hulk is about a shy, timid Jennifer Walters, who's a lawyer. When she transforms to She-Hulk, she keeps all of her intellect, but she becomes her ideal self. And her ideal self is a 7-foot-tall babe. She's not the Hulk with a vagina, which is the way Marvel is drawing her lately. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I have nothing against muscular women. In comics, you have Frazetta, you have in fantasy Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell. They always drew their women with massive arms, even, the Conan type Red Sonja stuff. The women were always very capable. You see, that's the thing. The women in comic books, just because they're attractive doesn't mean they're not capable of kicking your ass. I see over Agent DeCamp's shoulder, he has, in my opinion, mm-hmm. I remember the old binary shit with the X-Men, mm-hmm. and when Rogue and battled Carol Danvers, and when Captain Marvel used to be known as Ms. Marvel.
Yep.
I always thought that she was one of the most powerful. She was one of the most powerful Avengers and one of the most powerful superheroes.
I agree.
And even by the way, I know I'll get grief from this from all the rabble rousers on the YouTube, but even Brie Larson's portrayal of Captain Marvel in the movies, I think, is indicative of the character. She's not ugly.
Right.
And she's super fucking powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably the most powerful Avenger other than Thor. Right. Because she has that cosmic power. Mm-hmm. And the cosmic power, a lot of people have it in the comics, Silver Surfer, all those folks. But
correct.
People don't, but they don't show them off in the movies because we don't have Silver Surfer and Galactus and all those folks introduced yet.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about comics. Mm-hmm. Mike Navarino, my good buddy Mike Navarino. Mike says it's a shame they're doing that to She-Hulk now. Well, Mike, again, we're not here bitching about Marvel because we're not editors at Marvel, but it is a shame that. And here's what I wanted to bring up, Agent, and anybody watching. It seems like I put this in the subhead, Agent. I put male gaze approved. Mm-hmm. Why is it that we in 2021 should feel men or women in an attractive state. Because I got to tell you, Agent, I'm a creator myself. Mm-hmm. When I draw people on a page, I'm aspiring to draw cool looking people. Mm-hmm. And a part of being an artist, painters throughout the centuries, Renaissance painters, we had different types of societal things. We saw people were very, very, very plump, or they were very, women were very
voluptuous.
But there was an actual name for that's escaping my tongue, even though I know it because I studied art history for years. But the point, Rubenesque. Mm-hmm. They would say, that model was very Rubenesque, but still, from time immemorial, people have been doing nude beauty paintings and portraits of men and women. And it's like, hey, Titanic, draw me like the those French girls. The truth of the matter is, when I draw people on my pages, when I'm drawing a female protagonist or an antagonist, I want to draw them like Jack Kirby drew them, or John Buscema drew them, or better yet, Barry Windsor Smith drew them. Mm-hmm. Or John Romita Sr. drew them.
Right.
And Junior and J. Scott Campbell. You see J. Scott Campbell's right on my wall here.
Right.
Okay? In fact, my whole top of my wall is all signed J. Scott Campbell prints. Mm-hmm. And again, he does draw women very sexy, but that's like saying, why are all the girls in James Bond movies sexy and pretty? Well, why shouldn't they be? And that's kind of what I'm after. I'm trying to get this major question of what's so wrong about drawing Wolverine looking muscular, mm-hmm. and fit and tight and attractive, just like Hugh Jackman looks in the movies.
Right. Well, you notice even in the modern comics, the men are still drawn like men. Well, it's very few of them that aren't.
And that's the weird thing. And it's right. And what's funny too is, I saw a comic today with a very overweight main character. And I looked at the credits, and again, this is no offense, but the writers were women and the artists were women. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Joelle Jones.
Of course.
Okay. Every woman she draws is beyond beautiful.
Exactly.
In fact, I swore off corporate-owned comic books this year, meaning the big two.
Yes.
But I'm still buying Wonder Girl by Joelle Jones, because her character of Yara Flor, not only is it written well, but she's drawn very well.
Yes.
And I'm a sucker for Joelle Jones's art because she's that good. Mm-hmm. She draws everything like beautiful. And the men are beautiful, the women are beautiful, everything she draws is beautiful, in my opinion. And again, a visual medium being this comic book stuff, I just think it's appropriate to draw attractive people. It's like, can you imagine like a Marvel or DC, a Warner Brothers movie coming out, mm-hmm. and like the stars aren't attractive? Like that doesn't make sense. And I know, and by the way, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But look, women have boobs, breasts, men have penises, and women have vaginas. And if that's what sets them apart, why do we need to draw every woman in a comic small-chested now just because they wanted to cancel J. Scott Campbell?
Right.
Well,
the funny thing is Campbell really didn't draw overly huge breasts.
No, he doesn't.
He just had the thin waist.
Right. In fact, the only one that he has drawn, somewhat large is when he did Gen 13.
Right.
And Danger Girl to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't even that they were large. It was just that, they were always wearing James Bond swimsuits that zipped down the front.
Right.
But,
Well, that's the thing is you need to make the characters appealing in more ways than just their character. They have to be appealing to look at. Because like you said, it is a visual medium.
Well, that's the thing is that it's two-dimensional, Agent. Mm-hmm. You can't touch them. You can't talk to them. They're flat on the page.
Right.
So with that being said, and it's not like, you watch an animated cartoon, whether it's He-Man or whether it's whatever, like remember Rogue from the X-Men cartoon,
Yes.
Hey sugar, she talked. She was an animated object. She talked and moved. Okay, this is a still flat. These are lines on a piece of paper.
Right.
These lines, as curvy as they are, these lines should not offend anyone. These lines should not be offensive to anyone. I don't care if you're a 500-pound woman or man. There's no way you're looking at this and it should offend you.
Right.
It's not, it doesn't make sense about why a medium that, and even going back to comic strips, Dick Tracy, early Phantom, early Superman, all this stuff that ran, not even in comics, but in daily newspapers. When you had Blondie and Dagwood, or oh, by the way, here's a better example. Okay. And again, I'm not fat shaming anyone. I'm not woman shaming or gender shaming anybody. I'm talking about even in indie comics. I look at comics, and when I say indie, I'm talking about even, people on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. You pick them up, and again, I'm not saying it's better or worse than stuff that I do or stuff that I read, but I've noticed that everything is getting grotesque now, to the point where everything's got, like, remember in the 90s or the late 90s, early 2000s, it was called like heroin chic, where everybody looked like a dirtbag on TV and movies. And actually, when you watch TV today, most people look like, most scenarios on TV, it's either this white trash, apartment with, bottles all over the place, and, and just, and again, and also minorities are portrayed the same way on television. Well, that's starting to seep into all kinds of medium. I think, the whole comic books, especially with DC and Marvel, everything is about what they look like to an adverse effect. That they don't look glamorous, they don't look heroic, they don't look anything resembling heroes anymore. They just look like you and me,
right,
with some leather on or some ugly cape or whatever.
Well, the thing is, there's been overweight people in comics for a long time.
Of course.
I mean, you look at Terry Moore's Strangers in Paradise.
Of course.
We had Kachu, which was the sexy blonde, and they had Francine, which was the slightly overweight brunette.
But Francine was always cute, though.
Right, but he drew her beautiful. She was a beautiful woman. She was just overweight.
Well, okay.
So what they're doing now in that I Am Not Starfire, oh my God, you didn't have to draw her like that.
Here's a good point, by the way, Agent, and I want to clear this up for anybody that's misconstruing the anything negative coming out of my mouth. There are people that objectively you could say overweight that are beautiful. Okay, there are many plus size models, men and women, who are very beautiful. There are women who are 200 pounds that are gorgeous. Okay. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form, but those are what I'm talking about. The separating flesh from fantasy, bringing up a good Billy Idol segue there, flesh and fantasy. Flesh for fantasy, you have real life flesh people when we talk about actors and actresses. But then these are just lines on a piece of paper. So it's like, remember when Jack Kirby used to talk about the difference between a movie and a comic book. In a comic book, this is your budget. Whatever you can create with this pen or this mechanical pencil is your budget. Whatever's in your mind, you can draw. Now, when you have a physical, a movie, cinema, play, real life, we're all 3D objects. We all touch and feel and smell and taste. When it comes to, fantasy and fiction and comic books, that Captain Marvel that's behind you, she's got a mohawk and the short hair and, the thing that everybody goes about, but you know what? She's still very, very attractive. She's got all the curves in the right place, and she looks like she has a cosmic ball there ready to kill somebody with it.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Now you're a fan, no doubt. Like, that's one of your favorite characters, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Marvel, I think you held up an early issue there, if not number one.
Yep.
On there. Okay, you had that one. I gotcha.
Yeah, that's still Carol Danvers. It's the same character.
Yeah, of course. Now the early Ms. Marvel, which I think was drawn by John Buscema or John Romita.
Buscema.
Buscema.
First issue, yeah.
Written by Stan Lee, right?
Or no, Roy Thomas. Written by I think it might have been Roy Thomas.
Okay. Anyway, and here's the thing too. Like, here's an interesting fact. Like, a lot of these characters.
Gary Conway.
Oh, okay. A lot of these characters were developed, these female counterparts to male counterparts were developed so that Marvel could have the rights to the character for both TV licensing things and also to protect them so that DC wouldn't make a character just like it and rip it off. She-Hulk, for example. If they hadn't created She-Hulk, at any time, DC could have created a big green girl and called her, Jolly Green Giantess or something, and also a lot of this came out from the fact that in the late 70s and mid 70s, you had shows like the $6 Million Man, and then they made the Bionic Woman.
Right.
And they also had Wonder Woman with Linda Carter on in the mid 70s, late 70s, Charlie's Angels. You had a feminist movement going on.
Well, that's what Ms. Marvel actually was. Ms. Marvel was actually created to try to draw in the feminist movement. Right,
which was also what the original Cat was.
Yes.
In fact, I believe this is the first heroine besides Miss Fury from the 40s. This was the first female in Marvel to have her own title. Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. It predates Ms. Marvel. It predates a lot of stuff. And didn't go anywhere. Didn't succeed. And by the way, I don't know if you've ever seen Agent and everybody watching. By the way, this is Wolverine. Okay. That is Wolverine's costume. Almost exact, by the way. But that's a tale for another YouTube stream. The thing is that these things that came out of feminism, the feminist movement especially in the mid 70s, was groundbreaking in that we had all these new characters, and they were strong and kick ass. In fact, the whole plot of the Cat was that she was with this dude who was, I think, a military guy, or no, he was a cop. Then he was killed. Right. And then she was all on her own, and she was applying for these jobs and she couldn't get these jobs. And that was the whole story. It was like, oh, I'm qualified to be this biochemist scientist, but oh, that's okay, dear. We need a receptionist. So she was actually a biochemist or a scientist, a chemist of some sort, really smart, really educated, but she couldn't get a job other than being a receptionist. And then she hooked up with a doctor who experimented on her and gave her these powers and stuff. And then later, spoiler, we find out that the doctor who hooked her up with her powers is actually from an alien cat race and turned her into Tigra. And that character who was the Cat, the original Cat, not Patsy Walker, but the original Cat, she turned into Tigra. And then years later, Patsy Walker was hanging out with the Avengers in some George Perez drawn story. She finds the Cat's costume, puts it on, and all of a sudden she's the Hellcat. Yep. Now, that was convenient. But even I'm going to even say I picked up an issue. I browsed an issue of Iron Man recently, And in Iron Man, Patsy Walker is sleeping and hanging out with Tony Stark, and Patsy
rating him every minute.
And Patsy Walker looks like shit now too. And again, it's not about like or dislike. It's about they just don't draw people heroic anymore. But speaking of a hero, it's the big D. Simply incredible. Hey, your hair's getting a little long there, D.
How you doing, man? It's coming out of my face now, but not out of the top anymore.
Anyway, thanks for joining us from Virginia land. So, simply incredible. Please say hello to Agent DeCamp.
Yeah. How you doing, sir?
Yeah. Agent DeCamp is a friend of mine who I met at a garage sale maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And
the things you can find at garage sales.
Right. Yes. I know. It's like, what's in the box? It's Agent DeCamp. But Agent DeCamp became fast friends with me. And he was, I think, backer number 1.
Yes, I am.
Of Misty America. I think
throw that in my face, why don't you?
Daryl, I'm pleased to say, is backer 11. He's got
by the way, that is one twice.
That's right.
There you go.
And Daryl is actually has aliases. Some people call him Thomas, some people call him Daryl, some people call him Simply Incredible. But I call him a good friend of mine. We appear most Sundays, except this last one, on a show called Extreme Nerd Table. And Daryl is part of my movie review band. Anyway, so Daryl, I don't know if you heard, but me and Agent were having a very male chauvinistic, objective.
It's my fault this movie.
Yes, objective. We were having an objective conversation, not criticizing so much the idea that you could have or not draw attractive men and women in comics much anymore, but that people are trying to make you feel bad for looking at them, buying it, or me as a creator. I'm drawing on a piece of paper. Why can't I draw the women or men the way I want to? Why can't we bring sexy back? Because what happens is people say, oh, you're objectifying them. And my argument is that these characters are on paper. They don't exist. So who am I objectifying? What am I objectifying? And why do narcissistic people want to see themselves in comic books rather than why do they want to see themselves in comic books rather than aspire to what they're looking at? And that's my general conversation. I don't get it.
All right.
I don't want to see.
Let me get my fingers out because we'll be counting.
All right.
Number 1, people do want to see something like this in comic books. It's a horror show. But I think there is a line. I think there is too much for me. I mean, when I see, and when I say this, I know this is your guy. I know this is your guy, and this is not a shot at him because I just happen to have this comic book nearby, and that is this.
Okay.
I know Jay Scott. That's one of you guys. I love his artwork as well, but I don't want to see every character looking like this over here. I think there's a difference between reality and fake. This is absurd to me.
But it's a comic book. It is fake.
Yeah, I agree. But again, when I see a character looking like this, I got to be honest, this is something is killing the children, or someone is killing the children, or someday the children are dying. I don't know what it's called.
The children are dying.
You're really invested in that book. You don't know the name.
I have not. I just, people kept saying, "Oh, it's a great read. You need to check it out." So I bought a few of them, and the first one I could find was issue 10. I am not paying over cover price for any of these things.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting before issue 10. And they said, well, you don't want to start at issue 10. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm never starting. But look at this character. This is what a fit female looks like. This is not as much as I love her. And this is a character that I love. And that is Power Girl.
Yet that sucks because she doesn't have the hole cut out in her chest. Now, come on now.
Well, I mean, I didn't create it.
And that's the point, though. Neither did the person that drew that. That person did not create it.
My point, though, is that some characters should look like this.
Yeah.
Some characters should not look like this.
Right.
When you're creating every character to look like this, I think at some point there will be backlash, and I think that backlash started a few years ago.
Now, I'm gonna validate your point. Your points. The validation is that something is killing the children, right? I do not know what that story is about, nor do I fucking care. However,
I would actually like to find out because people are actually talking about a story, which I don't even hear anymore.
However, I do know that she is some sort of like Slayer type. Okay. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Snake Slayer or not the metal band Slayer, but Slayer type.
Okay.
And my thing is that I believe she is a normal person without supernatural abilities. Mm-hmm. Now, just because someone has supernatural abilities doesn't mean they have to be overtly muscular or fetishized or any of that. They don't have to look like Conan or Pitt or the Hulk. I get that. However, some people, especially comic artists, even like myself, I have a style that no matter what I was drawing, I can't break away from that because it's just the way I draw. J. Scott Campbell style is a mixture of Art Adams and Disney.
And that's beautiful.
And that's what it is, though. You understand?
Yeah.
He's Art Adams and Disney. Now, to be fair, look at Peter Parker in that shot. Show Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Okay. Peter Parker. Okay, on the bottom there, he looks pretty buff.
I find that to be ridiculous for Peter Parker, by the way.
That is no Steve Ditko Peter Parker.
No.
But again, to be fair, it's not Steve Ditko drawing him. It's J. Scott Campbell. Can you grab that She-Hulk behind you, please?
Let me flex and do that. Oh, sorry.
All right. Can you hold that up to the camera now?
That
is Buscema, I believe, or Romita. I don't know. I think it's Buscema.
Okay.
John
Buscema. John Buscema, who wrote the book Draw Comics the Marvel Way. If you look at She-Hulk there, her breasts are not incredibly large.
I find that to be very feminine.
And she is not overtly muscular. Mm-hmm. She's just 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Now, John Buscema right there drew an ideal woman. Doesn't matter what color her skin is. Doesn't matter how tall she is. She is very feminine, but she can still capable of kicking ass. And that's what that's about. And the truth of the matter is, though, unfortunately, She-Hulk now is being portrayed as Lou Ferrigno with a vagina.
Well, actually, no. Now she's the actual Hulk with a vagina.
Right.
Hulk
she's
smash.
the Hulk.
She's no longer a lawyer.
Yes.
She's barely put together.
See, that to me is ridiculous.
And to be honest with you, and it's not even, and again, you guys, growing up in the 80s, there was a bit, Muscle and Fitness, okay? Magazine always had female bodybuilders on. Mm-hmm. I can even name two of them. But Corey Everson was a blonde that I always saw.
Yep.
And Rachel McClish, who was McClish. Anyway, she was a brunette. Okay.
That one I don't remember.
Listen, brunette, long black hair, small chested, but still very feminine looking, but still looked like she could rip you in half. Okay.
Now hold up that She-Hulk graphic novel you got right there.
Right. And that's
the way they would pose.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yep.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. To subvert this into a 7-foot Melissa McCarthy is ridiculous. Okay. I'll hit you on that there, Daryl. But my point is that the Hulk was the She-Hulk was Jennifer Walters' ideal person, because Jennifer Walters was a meek, timid little lawyer, 5'2", little tiny little thing, probably wasn't that hot, wasn't that popular in school. But when she turned to the Hulk, She-Hulk, she was not only aggressively strong, but she was vivacious. It's almost like in Wonder Woman 1984, Kristen Wiig's character wanting to be like Gal Gadot, like Diana Prince, wanting to aspire to be this gorgeous Amazon. And by the way, the Amazons aren't petite. The whole point of an Amazon is they're strong, but they're still attractive. And just like I said, it's like Jack Black is funny because he's a little fat dude. Jack Black is not going to be the romantic lead with Jennifer Lawrence in an action movie. Although that would be nice for all us normal people out there. But the point is, again, reality, fantasy, flesh, and fantasy. These are lines on a piece of paper. Now, Daryl, I know you're chomping at the bit to show me some fat girl comics. So
actually, no. What I was going to say though, I keep hearing Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
I keep hearing Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
There is a body type in between a She-Hulk type,
of course,
and a Melissa McCarthy.
Sure.
And to me, I have no problem with this.
But
I have no problem with it. And I sent you this picture earlier of the comic book Faith.
Yes.
I have no problem them creating these.
No, I don't either.
Not only
either.
I think they should be created.
I don't either.
I'm not saying like they did with Iceman, where they turned him from being a straight character to a homosexual character. Mm-hmm. I think you should have your characters be who they are. You shouldn't say, well, we don't have a character for this group. So
see, that's what we've been saying the entire stream so far. We've been saying that. Like you said, they created Faith, who is a very overweight woman as a superhero. I have a bunch of her issues. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, you want to create your own character like that. That is fine. The character they created for Something's Killing the Children. That's fine. Don't take my Captain Marvel and make her look like Faith. Don't take She-Hulk and make her look like the regular Hulk with a vagina. You know what I'm saying? Create your own characters. Don't make Iceman gay. Create a new gay character.
And again, here's a point too. You made a great, Daryl. You're a gem of wonderful knowledge tonight. Here's what I like you said.
Opposite from normal.
No, but here's what I like what you said. There are body types in between Melissa McCarthy and say
Scarlett Johansson.
I'm not even going to say Scarlett Johansson. I was even going to go for someone younger and slimmer. Okay, there's a difference between Kendall Jenner, okay, or the chick who was in Cruella and Spider-Man, the younger Emma Stone.
Yes.
Emma Stone and Melissa McCarthy. What I'm saying is, you said there were body types in the middle. Well, what some people in comic books are doing for shock value is they're going extreme.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like Misty America and Faith. You understand? Now, Misty America, for my own defense, yeah, she may have big boobs. The only reason she's got big fake boobs is because my cosplayer decided to get an implant job while I was making the book.
So you know what? Make one big, one small.
But
there you go.
But
compromise.
But she is still an athletic person. Yeah. She's muscular. She's fit. She would be a wrestler. I like to think of. Here's what I'd like to see most of the females in comics look like if they were reality based. I want them to look like professional wrestlers. I want them to look like Lita from the 90s, or I want them to look like Alexis Bliss or Sasha Banks, or and again, I don't even know. I don't watch wrestling, but I've seen these women on the internet and on The Mandalorian and stuff. Women that are actually like physically fit, but they actually do have breasts. You know, it doesn't mean that they're like, you know, some of them have long hair. So that's not a thing. It's not like Charlize Theron could be completely bald and she's still a good looking woman. Okay. But the thing is what you brought up a point, Daryl, is, and my point is that everybody's extreme. Just like everything in this world, in this country, everything's all the way over here and everything's all over here, and you don't meet in the middle. That something is killing the children, woman. That looks like your typical, normal, you know, if it was a real person, she'd be a character on the CW fighting with the supernatural brothers or whatever.
Right. But you want to know something interesting, though, is a lot of people say that you don't see people like Campbell's drawings. But the funny thing is, just today, the wife and I went to Target, and I swear to God, I saw Abby Chase walking into the store.
Let me tell you something.
She had the tight pants on, the boots, and the white crop top.
Anyone that I bet you, I hope you weren't staring too long, Agent.
No.
I will tell you, but
I've
you
been
know
married
what,
a long time.
Guys, to say that women, real women, again, and we're not talking about real women, or men, we're talking about drawings. But there are, all you have to do is go on Instagram for 10 seconds and go in the Reels section, like where TikTok videos are. You will find 800,000 women who are actually kind of almost better looking than J. Scott Campbell's drawings because they're real. And by the way, they're shaped the same way. And by the way, a lot of them are natural. They just happen to be 21 and 22 years old. And we all know that in today's world, you know, a 21, 22-year-old who's trying to be an influencer on the internet pretty much works out 24 hours a day and lives on energy drinks, Monster energy drinks, and whatever. And during the 70s, when you watch Charlie's Angels, I used to kid my mom because my mom looked like Farrah Fawcett in the 70s and she was very young. And now I always kid her. I said, your diet consisted of Tab and Dexatrim. Okay. Which pretty much is why she only weighed 105 pounds, like while I was a child.
How many people know what Tab is nowadays?
Yeah,
exactly. Or Dexatrim. Which was speed.
But, you know, another funny thing is a lot of people say that, well, no, we're looking for a lot of realism. We want to show women that are powerful and that can really handle themselves. And that's what the feminist movement was. I mean, you look at Carol Danvers as the original Ms. Marvel. She wasn't overly muscular. You know, she just had a nice shape to her. She was your everyday girl, you know. And if she didn't have power, she wouldn't be able to beat a guy up, you know. Right. But the thing is, though, I still like seeing strong women. And a strong woman can be any shape, any size, any age, you know, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to see something that is more of an escapism. You know, I want to see things that are appealing. Okay. I realize that an 80-pound, you know, Kitty Pryde can't beat up the Juggernaut. Okay. But it's nice to see in the comic world. You know, you don't have to see it in real life because this isn't real life. It's a fantasy world. And like I said, I don't expect to see me in the fantasy world. And when you do read a comic book, they do have people of all shapes and sizes in there. You know, it's just that the main characters are usually the ones that are the prime examples of complete fitness. And that's what people like to see.
And there's nothing wrong with that because
I will tell you, I would be very intrigued with superheroes as they've gotten older and they look like me.
Mm-hmm. Jupiter's Legacy, man.
Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse.
And by the way, you showed that earlier. I did see that part.
Yeah. And again, by the way, you know, you just showed a cover. Now, if you put 20 of those covers of those, and I'm not even a fan of Art Germ, by the way, but that picture, if you hang that up if you put that on the comic book wall or at a convention, people are going to buy it. By the way, men and women would rather buy that than, I dare to say, your copy of Faith. Now, I have nothing against Faith. Yeah, I like that. I like everything you guys are showing.
This is Common America. Okay, that's the way she is on the special cover. This is the way she looks in the book. I'm sorry, it's a foil cover, so it's kind of hard to see. So you can see it is a drastic difference in the breast size.
You're giving some viewers epilepsy at the moment.
I think it looks awesome. I mean, what character was that again?
It's called Common America. It was on Indiegogo.
Okay. I thought of some of the Zenoscope stuff that they do on those foil covers.
Sure. Yes. Zenoscope and Dynamite have not abandoned putting hot, sexy women on every cover that they publish.
Well, actually, I got a couple Dynamite books.
But anybody got you must have a copy, Daryl. You must have a copy of Faith for me to say.
Actually, I do not.
Okay. That picture that you sent me, I'm going to tell you why I vomited in my mouth when you sent it to me.
You know as well as I do. You spent time in the bathroom and it wasn't vomiting.
Okay, and here's another thing that I'd like to say. I don't care how sexy J. Scott Campbell draws women, or John Byrne, or Neil Adams, or George Perez.
Where did I put that book?
At the age of 50 years old, I can say with total honesty that comics are not used for masturbatory purposes, for me at least. I don't understand that idea that when people call, it looks like porn or whatever. That's bullshit. Just because you like looking at something doesn't mean that you're using it for gratification. Now, maybe some people do, and if they're watching, I'm very sorry that that's your thing. But I kind of like seeing real people in person or on film. I really don't care for comic books. And getting back before you join the stream, Daryl, I was making a comment about. I wanted to make a comment about Archie. Even going back, Betty and Veronica are always hot. Okay, I don't care, in that style, but they're always good looking. Daphne and Velma, okay.
Ethel wasn't though. You gotta remember Ethel.
But they're always drawn cute though. Okay. And if you're into doing stuff to comics, just Google Velma and Daphne, and you'll find some very interesting things. Zoinks. But anyway, the point is even Blondie and Dagwood, going back to old comic strips in the 30s and 40s, Blondie was always cute. I mean, Barney, look at how ugly Barney and Fred Flintstone were, and look at their wives. I mean, Ginger and Marianne on the, Gilligan's Isle. Batman 66, all the incarnations of Catwoman. Hell, I'm looking at Michelle Pfeiffer behind Daryl's shoulder there. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have, I keep bringing her up. I'm going to say somebody else. Rosie O'Donnell. There's not a poster of Rosie O'Donnell.
You got a little bit of a Rosie fetish going, man.
No, I've just mentioned Melissa. You're like an angrier Rosie O'Donnell. Anyway, but my point is,
Eartha Kitt was hot as Catwoman in that.
Agent.
Yes, sir.
Daryl sent me, when I was talking to him earlier today, he sent me a screenshot or an image of Faith, which I've never seen before, and I hope I never see it again. But the comic book had her in the most skin-tight white outfit, and all the roles were showing. And my thing is if you were overweight like that, wouldn't you pick a costume that better suited you?
All right, this will be back here coming soon.
There you go.
Good old Pangy.
Yes.
All right.
There you go. You just talk to him the rest of the night.
But yes, I agree. But what I do like is I like that Faith was created as a new character to look that way. And the sad part is they talk when the type of character she was created to be is one for real people to emulate, to say, I'm overweight, this girl's overweight. She's not ashamed of it. She goes out in the world and she becomes a hero. But what they don't look at is, what are her health issues? I'm not the healthiest guy alive. Don't get me wrong. I'm overweight. I'm old. I'm falling apart. But like I said, then they call it fat shaming now. Well, no, you're going to give yourself a heart attack, or you're going to be diabetic. You could lose a leg. All kinds of different things. So yes, if you want to create that superhero, that's fine. But tell the people this isn't something for you to emulate. This is something that you need to be careful of, but at least you're getting some representation. But we don't want you to emulate this person.
Well, I just had a problem that her costume was too tight.
Right.
Why didn't her Daryl, that picture you sent me, Daryl, that white costume, that looked like she was squeezed into Storm's costume from the X-Men, right. Yep. And that's what made me sick.
And that's pretty tight on her.
Yeah, but
the thing is, though, some guys like that. There are guys out there that like that.
You mentioned health problems. Look, and when you were talking about WWE earlier. Look at all of those muscle-bound guys that have died from heart attacks and stuff
because of steroids.
Exactly. I mean, you can't get a body looking like Batman from Jim Lee unless you're roided up.
Right.
So if you want to talk health issues, you got them on both sides. You got
that's
being too thick.
That's why what I say is
being too thick.
That's what I say is I'm not looking for representation of me in a comic. I'm looking at something that is the ideal person who is an ideal hero. Like I'm one of the people that doesn't like the storylines where they deconstruct a character. I don't want to see my character deconstructed. I want to see my character doing good. I want to see them surviving a tragedy that almost ruined their lives and going beyond that and becoming a force for good. That's what a hero is.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that was wrong with the Captain Marvel movie. Overall, when I first came out of theater, I was kind of mixed on it. I didn't really care that much for it. I tried to watch it again. I couldn't. I watched it again for a third time. And I finally enjoyed it. Okay. But the thing that was missing in that is she didn't have anything to say. She didn't have a sacrifice is what I call it. If they would have had Maria Rambeau die up in the spaceship from the Kree, okay, and that's when she realized her full potential, it would have been so much better because she had to overcome something. It was an emotional response. Whereas all they did was, oh, here, we're gonna kill you and we're gonna shock you here and you're gonna die. And then she's like, oh no, you're not. Here I am. Boom. So
Spoilers.
She didn't have. Yeah, well, the movie's kind of old now, so if you haven't seen it, you're not going to.
Yeah, that movie was terrible.
Yeah, but like I said, if they would have had that little bit of humanizing to her, it would have been 100% better. Because she's supposed to be powerful. She knows she's powerful, and she was just acting out the part. She was just being that way. Whereas once she got that sacrifice thing overdone, that would tone her back a little bit and say, I can't save everyone. I wasn't powerful enough to save my friend. So that would temper her a little bit and make her more human. Because yes, there are people out there, that are, the fourth degree black belts that can kick, 90% of the people in the world's ass. But okay,
only one black belt.
But you understand what I'm saying? A lot of them can walk around with that
gray now.
It's got a little.
It actually turned pink because I was supporting cancer awareness.
Oh, so there you go. But you understand what I mean? They can have that bravado, but there's always going to be somebody better. So once they get their ass kicked, suddenly that bravado isn't as much. You understand what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that really would have helped that movie.
The best part of that movie was the Mallrats script in it.
Yes.
I personally like the movie. I've seen it like 10 times.
So have I now. I've watched it multiple times. And Brie Larson's actually gotten more human in real life.
Whatever. It doesn't matter whether real life. It's a movie.
Right.
And by the way, I never read Ms. Marvel in my life, so I had no preconception of Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, or any other Marvel. I just knew that she got her powers taken from Rogue years ago and turned into a character called Binary. and then became Ms. Marvel again, Captain Marvel, whatever.
Well, she came Warbird first, and then she became back to Ms. Marvel.
And I know, and I know there was multiple Captain Marvels. I just know that she's a legacy character from the late 60s, early 70s.
Right. And, well, she became Ms. Marvel in 77.
Right.
But as Carol Danvers, she was the love interest of Marvel.
I got you.
In the original Captain Marvel series. And she got her powers by an explosion from a machine, and he shielded her, and it bonded his DNA onto hers, and yada, yada, yada.
I thought she was having an affair with Captain Carvel, and she got hit by an ice cream cone.
Yes. Well, then she would look like Faith.
A Fudgy the Whale. No, Faith has eaten Fudgy the Whale. She didn't have a thing with Fudgy the Whale.
Be Cookie Puss?
Cookie Puss? Hi, I'm Cookie Puss. I don't know if Daryl...
Cookie Puss is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson kept calling John Cena Cookie Puss.
Yep.
That's all I know about that.
Cookie Puss Puss was this disgusting cake.
Yeah.
Carvel ice cream up in New York when I used to live there. They used to advertise Fudgy the Whale and Cookie Puss. And they were two disgusting looking cakes that you could buy for your kid's birthday.
Yep.
And to be honest with you,
I never wanted one.
They were hideous. They looked like whoever drew I Am Not Starfire made those cakes. But anyway, so now that we're talking about just total nonsense, besides the wonderful character, the heroine, wonderful character, bad girl of the year 2021, Misty America, I'd like to know who some of your favorite heroines are. And it can be independent publishers. It can be Marvel and DC. Agent DeCamp, go first.
Oh, of course. It's got to be my Ms. Marvel.
Okay. Anybody else?
Invisible Woman.
Okay. Anybody else?
I never see her.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I like my Wonder Woman.
All right.
Nice,
I was looking for some DC. I was looking for some DC there.
Well, I had the Wonder Woman. Oh, here we go. Black Canary.
There you go. Yes.
Huntress and Batwoman.
Yes. Let me ask you.
I don't even care that Batwoman is a lesbian. She's still hot.
You shouldn't. Because guess what?
It doesn't matter.
None of these characters sleep with anybody in the comics we're looking at. So I don't know. No one's having oral sex either, apparently. So I don't know why we care so much. I will tell you, though, speaking of Starfire from the Teen Titans, I remember a wonderful frame when New Teen Titans, in the mid 80s, they came out with a deluxe format on Baxter paper. And it was issue 1 with the Raven, when Raven went bad and Trigon was coming back.
Yes.
All of a sudden there was a storm outside Titan's Tower. And Dick Grayson and Corey were in bed together. And the light from the window was shading so that you saw that Corey Starfire was topless, but you didn't see any naughty bits.
Right.
I can still see that in my mind now. And again, there's nothing perverted about it, but it was about that it was a seductive thing that was drawn.
Right.
And I remember that, just like I remember seeing Daisy Duke on Dukes of Hazzard, or I remember seeing
the TV series, not the movie.
Heather Thomas. No, I remember Jessica Simpson from the movie also. But Heather Thomas from The Fall Guy, Battlestar Galactica ladies, Buck Rogers.
Yep.
All those scenes never showed anyone nude, but the women were seductive in the way they were lighted, the way they were filmed.
You want to know another thing? In the 70s, a lot of those women, they were not heavy in the top either.
No, they were not. If you actually, everyone talks about the boob tube, but if you watch Charlie's Angels season 1, which I have many times, because I have the DVD set and I love watching those old vintage TV shows, especially Charlie's Angels.
The TV in the bathroom, right?
All the women, including Farrah Fawcett, are very small chested.
Yeah.
Right.
They're very frail and not frail, but very thin and small chested. The reason why they were called the boob tube is because apparently no one wore bras in the 70s on TV.
No.
So
I didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Thank God.
I mean, look at Erin Gray on Buck Rogers, like you said, Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Yes,
I met her a couple years ago.
Yes, so
still gorgeous.
Yes,
still gorgeous.
Now we just sound like three dirty old men. But speaking of Daryl, can you? I know Harlequin's a favorite of yours. Who else you got?
What? That doesn't even sound like me.
Harley
By
Quinn.
the way, Oscar from Charlie's Angels. Spoiler alert, right there. Age of the camp. I'm a big fan of Robin Hood from Zenoscope. Really good writing, really good story stuff there. There's a little I think 12-minute mini movie here on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's a great character. Definitely something to check out if you feel so inclined.
Okay.
If you feel so inclined. Harley Quinn, I like old school Harley Quinn much better than new school Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Old school onesie. I love that character.
It's hard to pee in that.
Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, they changed her. I liked it for a little while. It's kind of tipping downhill a little bit.
Yeah.
Crosswind, I really like.
I liked her talking beaver.
Yes. I can't believe he didn't make it into the movies, by the way.
He did.
Did he?
He was in Birds of Prey.
Was he? How did I miss Beaver?
Several scenes.
Very
because you fell asleep.
She talked to him and he didn't respond.
Oh, see, there's
in fact, she was talking to him with the girl, Cassandra, in the apartment, and she was looking at her like she was crazy because it wasn't. And there was a scene in a phone booth where she had the beaver in the phone booth. Who else you got there? You like Wonder Woman? You like what's that? Who's that?
This is Drew from Super Zero. Awesome series. I don't know why they stopped this. Amanda Conner, Jimmy Palmiotti, I've asked them. They don't know why it stopped. Aftershock apparently thought, it's time to stop this. Everyone that's read this has said it's an awesome series, so I don't get it. Let's see. Miss Quinn back here. She-Hulk, I love the fact that not only is she a physically dominating female, but also she got them brains.
Yes. But not in the current iteration, though. That's what sucks.
Which I haven't read anything in ages, so I don't know about that. Who else do I like in the feminines? Obviously Wonder Woman. Huge fan of Wonder Woman. I'm gonna have to ponder, see who else I like in the feminines.
Let me I'm gonna show you a great female character coming out next year.
Yes.
All right. When in Oh My God, she was known as Kira Palmer, but she's now known as Lady Seraph. And she made her debut in issue number 6. And I got it. Like, she's an angel, cosmic angel. By the way, cosmic angel, combination of Glory, Angela, Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and believe it or not, Valkyrie, Jane Foster. Not the old Valkyrie, who I love, but the Jane Foster Valkyrie. When I was reading Lord of the Realms and Jane Foster got turned into Valkyrie, I really liked the way Jason Aaron had her transformation. And if you notice, if anyone's read Oh My God, they will notice that her wings kind of appear and disappear almost cosmically.
Ooh.
Instead of the old on TV shows when someone's wearing a full jacket and the wings just pop out.
Yep.
And then they pop back, but the clothes are still intact for some reason. I never understand that. So Valkyrie as Jane Foster as Valkyrie, even though I'm not a huge fucking Marvel fan these days, I actually like the way Jason Aaron presented that character. Joe, that's Mike Deodato's Glory.
Yes.
By the way, I can't stand the way Mike Deodato Jr. Draws now.
Oh, really?
But that old stuff, I have volumes of his Wonder Woman run, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
And he did run of Glory. And he actually did a run of, even though I don't have it on me, He did an amazing run of Lady Death. Probably 20 issues. Amazing work. Lady Death is the shit to me. I'm going to go heavy on Independence. She by Billy Tucci.
I just bought his omnibus tonight.
Razor.
That one I don't know.
Kabuki.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Razor is the main impetus of all the stuff I do stylistically. Razor, Everett Hartsoe, black and white comic from the early 90s. London Night Studios made millions of dollars with a million variant covers. Kabuki, David Mack.
Yep.
This is early Kabuki. David Mack is a well-known Marvel artist now. And by the way, I've always loved Supergirl.
Yep.
I met Supergirl.
I will not read the Tom King new Supergirl because it looks like shit. It looks like Supergirl is Kitty Pryde, but smaller and frailer, and she's carrying a sword. And although you've looked at my comics and seen lots of swords, Supergirl and Superman, Kara Zor-El does not need a sword.
No, she needs a sword.
And also the 10th, Tony Daniel, his early stuff. Tony Daniel, which everyone knows from Nocturna and DC and Batman and all that. Tony Daniel, when he started at Image, he was doing a lot of bad girl comics. The 10th was a very, very cool comic that he did.
He did Venom too, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Tony Daniel's done a lot. Tony Daniel is like huge artist right now, but I like he's coming to MegaCon, and if I go to his table, I'm going to bring all old bad girl stuff that he did at Image. Because they were his creations. He wasn't creating.
Well, just like you remember Art T-Bear.
I read the first through the 9th, so I need to find the 10th.
Art T-Bear, the black and white.
Yep.
I have an original
one of that. There you go. Oracle.
Yep.
Oh, Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, and I do. I know you probably don't like this artwork, but I absolutely love Alex Garland's artwork.
Yep.
I don't, but that's okay.
I like where it makes the art on the cover should display something that happens in the issue.
That doesn't even sound like anything that happens in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
My comics, other than my model covers, I make sure I draw at least the main covers because I don't think it is right. Like this Tony Daniel book. This Tony Daniel book. Like, look, I love J. Scott Campbell. But I loved J. Scott Campbell when he was drawing Gen 13, when he was, or Danger Girl, where you got this great cover, and then he's got 24 pages inside too.
Yep.
This shit with, and that's again, there's three markets. There's people that just buy covers and never read the book.
Yep.
There's people that just buy speculative shit, and then there's people like us. I will buy a book because of its great cover sometimes, but there have been times. And I'll admit, I've been waxing poetic about the female form and the masculine form and the artists I love. If John Byrne, who I loved forever, is drawing every comic for Marvel, if he's not doing the inside, the interiors, I don't want to spend $3.99 on the book.
I would.
Now,
I'd buy it for that cover.
But with that same thing said, like I can't roll like that. For example, I went to that Rob Liefeld signing a few weeks ago. Okay, as part of the package, when you went to the signing, you got all these copies of the Nerdy 30 covers he did, and you got them. And by the way, they were free, part of the package.
Wow.
There were two Spider-Man and Deadpool and Carnage and Deadpool and Venom Pool type covers, right? They're both autographed. I kind of am considering selling both of them because he did the covers, but
not the interior.
Nothing on the interior. Now the Nerdy 30s was a Deadpool kind of like 30-year anniversary.
Yes.
He did an 8-page story inside. So at least he did something.
Right.
But those other comics, to me, I'm not interested because, it's autographed and he did the cover. but I'm not like hanging them on my wall. They're just going in a box. Right. So to me, carpet should match the drapes. Like when I see all those art germ covers, yes. I think it's stupid. And again, it's not even that I don't like I have a couple of art germ covers. Remember how I said I like Valkyrie? Well, I especially like the, what is it? Hildebrand Valkyrie, the blonde from the Defenders in the 70s. Yes. I love that character.
Broomhilda.
That's right. I'm sorry. Broomhilda, the original. I bought Valkyrie #1 or Rise of the Valkyries, and it was a virgin cover done by him. I bought it because of the cover, but then the inside, I was like, it looks like a coloring book, and you got this air. And again, nothing against Art Germ. And I know, by the way, he's a talented artist. I've seen him draw by hand. It's not all computer shit.
Yep.
But at the same time, the guy hasn't drawn one page of fucking interiors.
Right.
And I'm sorry, Peach Momoko, Coconut Bastard, whatever her name is. I'm sorry to offend anyone watching or anyone on the panel, but I think that is the worst fucking art I've ever seen in my life.
I think it's atrocious.
It looks like fucking my 12-year-old drew it on a piece of paper.
I've seen some bad ones.
It's with crayons.
Right. I've seen some good ones, but there's a lot of bad.
And then she did that sequential X-Men book, Dark Days or whatever.
Right.
And she got J. Scott Campbell doing the covers. I looked at the inside. I was like, In fact, when I get offline, I'm going to subscribe to Faith just so I don't have to look at another Peach Momoko cover.
See, there you go. It's growing on you, man. It's growing on you. Oh, and by the way, Phoenix is another character that I absolutely love.
Oh, Jean Grey, yeah.
The Dark Phoenix saga. Yeah. I know this is one of the covers in there, one of the comics in there. Love this run.
I wish I had mittens because I'd make a hot take. I wish Phoenix, when she died the first time, she should have stayed dead.
No one stayed dead.
Well, originally she wasn't supposed to. Did you ever read that?
Yeah, I know.
Joker died.
Jim Shooter made them kill her. I get it.
Yep.
But she should stay dead.
Yep, I agree. It's like Bucky should have stayed dead.
You're freaking dead.
And Gwen Stacy.
Well, now you're going too far.
No. By the way, I want to let you know I got Raymond Leonard's Agent Solo books.
Very nice.
I read them. They're excellent. This is the first issue. And then I got the second issue.
Nice.
And the Rob Liefeld cover.
Nice.
And he also sent me a nice head sketch with it.
Wow.
He is an excellent guy.
He is.
And they were good, too.
Good.
To get your mind off of Faith, there you go.
But you see, that looks cool.
This looks freaking awesome.
That looks like Whoopi Goldberg on the cover.
Well, that's what Faith looks like underneath the white costume.
Oh.
Ew.
Sorry. Sorry.
Why is her name Faith? Is it some religious based superpower?
I think that's her
name.
There were
fans of Wham back in the day, and you got to have faith.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's her name. That was just her name. Okay. She was part of Valiant.
She doesn't even have a superhero name. No. It's like, okay, I'm overweight and I don't have a name.
No, she does have a superhero name. Her superhero
she does.
Name is Zephyr.
Is it Little Debbie?
No, Zephyr.
Tasty Cakes.
Could be. Yeah.
It's like Power Girl. Her
name is Entman.
Name should be Carb Free because she eats no carbs.
Yes.
I think Power Girl eats a lot of carbs.
Yeah, I think she does.
Hey, she's got a lot of protein shake, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Power Girl is mighty. Power Girl is mighty thick, spelled THIC.
Yes.
That's what the kids say.
Well, it's just like I had this one of Jessica Cruz.
Very nice.
Yeah, she's looking pretty good there on the cover.
As I said, if you want to see a good looking,
and the thing is, she doesn't have those teeny tiny hips either.
If you want to see a good Latin character, Yara Flor by Joelle Jones.
Yep.
The Wonder Girl books, amazing looking character.
Her Catwoman too. Her Catwoman
from Brazil. Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm saying. But anyway,
I agree.
By the way, Joelle, what a sweet lady to meet too.
Oh, really? I haven't met her yet.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, that almost concludes our broadcast of three dirty old guys commenting on women's shapes.
It was two, and then a very highbrow guy coming in at about 45 minutes.
You're so highbrow.
Yes. He brought in the
really spend time with this later.
Who's that? Is that Dark Horse?
Dark Horse Presents.
Yeah.
What's everybody reading nowadays? Anybody? Anything? I know Agent DeCamp backs a lot of stuff online besides Misty America.
Yep.
He Starblades and that Raymond Leonard. And what'd you just do? You backed Billy Tucci?
Yeah, tonight he launched his She Omnibus.
Okay.
It's over 400 pages.
Nice.
It's really not a bad price either. And it's complete. The book is already complete. Once they start running the campaign, they just wanted to give enough money to print it, which they did. I mean, they I think they hit 20,000 in the first hour.
God almighty.
Yeah, that was on Van Sciver's channel.
Let me tell you something. Who, by the way, created Jessica Cruz.
Yep.
By the way, what's weird is these guys online, I'm not even going to mention the affiliation, but these guys are raising like $200,000 in like the first day.
Yeah, well, that's Van Sciver.
Meanwhile, Anthony Sika, who this is what's funny, I got an invite to be on John Malin, who's one of these famous YouTubers. I got an invite to be on his show to promote my book on Monday, but I was sitting at my drawing table drawing with my phone in the other room.
Yep.
Never saw the tweet and never responded and didn't promote my book. And because of that, Anthony Sika's Misty America is now at $692. I have a goal of 1,000. And I want to reach that in the next 15 days.
I got that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got that one in the other room.
So all I want to say is tonight's broadcast, this is another episode of Preaching to the Choir.
You got to get, when you get on Malin's, I think you're going to see your campaign go up quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I blew it.
Well, I think you'll have another chance.
I don't know, man. Unless he does another one Saturday.
Oh, he does. He does them all the time.
Faith again.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. Just say my character looks like Faith.
Oh, yeah, that'll get me real far.
There you go. There you go.
All right, well, gentlemen.
Here's another Ethan Van Sciver cover for a book called Vestige that came out.
That's nice.
I backed this one because it had his cover. The artwork's not bad, but I don't like what the writer's been doing, so I never backed his second issue.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I was backing. I backed a couple of smaller titles. I had backed some stuff by Everett Hartsoe because he came out with some Razor Universe type stuff. What was nice about him is when I backed it, it was very low. It was like $20 to back the book, but I only got one book. Like I didn't get like different covers. It was one book, not even signed, but that's okay. But like a bunch of trading cards and like I got a digital PDF a week before I received it in the mail, which was kind of a spoiler, and a bunch of nude pictures of some cosplay cover models and stuff. But again, the same thing. I just I back in books online. I can get in credit card trouble too fast. So
tell me about it.
So I don't do it.
I have to ask my wife every time.
Yeah. So the thing is with me is I kind of been like, and what happens is if I do back something online, like backing Misty America on Indiegogo right now, link below. When I do that, I make sure I don't buy any actual comics at a store for 2 weeks. It's like I'm penance. Like I'm in a monastery, flagging myself because I've sinned, Father. But
I buy both.
But that didn't stop me. Did you see that haul I had the other day from the flea market?
Yeah, I was jealous of that Wonder Woman you picked up.
Yeah, my wife bought me all those Tarzans, those Joe Kubert.
Wow, nice.
Those are so clean; they look like they've never even been read.
Wow.
Yeah, and that Wonder Woman that
I picked up on the cover.
Yeah, that was $1.
Yeah, that was a great price.
You need to get down there, Agent. Yep. He's set up in the row past the bathrooms.
Right.
No signage, no nothing. Just sitting there on a table, right in the open, with like 16 long boxes of 50-cent and dollar comics.
That's my type of thing right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm going through a whole bunch of stuff I picked up in Tampa a couple weeks ago. There's a couple nice shops out there. One guy is like, everything is, rounded off to $1 or more, and then if you buy so many, you get a discount.
Yeah. And you see those Star Wars I picked up?
Oh, yeah. That Granov character can draw pretty good too.
Yes. Yep. 80 Granov.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yep.
Who is that, Faith?
That was Mary Jane, man.
This was Faith before she had that first baby. And
first, or meaning fifth.
We like that character.
Now here's
another Mary Jane.
Oh, here's the Invisible Woman.
Yeah, there you go. Right there. She looks good there.
Look at her.
I remember buying that off the stands. I
always love that cover.
Can I see that cover again, Agent?
Sure.
Hold Mary Jane. Move it over.
Oops, sorry.
Wait a minute.
Now hold it still for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back.
Am I going to start hearing some puffing and puffing over there?
No. And all right, that's
who did that cover?
Okay. What's that?
I said, who did that cover?
Campbell.
Because it looks so much. It looks very similar to this one.
Yeah, that's the Ross, isn't it?
By Ross, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the Iron Spider cover costume. So it only has 2 colors.
Hey.
Fuck
Alex Ross.
He's not my type.
If I wanted to see superheroes look so realistic, I'd take a picture of them. Oh, wait a minute, that's what he does.
Yeah.
No, I only kid. I have a whole collection of Alex Ross stuff, and I love Alex Ross. I just can't imagine just taking photographs of shit and just painting them over and over again.
Hey, give you something to do to pass the time.
What'd you say?
I said it gives you something to do to pass the time.
Yep.
That's true. And to be a millionaire, because he is.
Yes.
What I love about him is at San Diego Comic-Con, he's got this massive booth, biggest one in the whole room, bigger than Marvel or DC, yet he's never there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like Campbell. Campbell has a booth at MegaCon, but he's never there.
Campbell, it does go to San Diego.
I got that. Ollie's.
Oh, I do love that. Hey.
Right, Anthony? Ollie's. I have that one. Yep.
Yes. Amazing. Most amazing thing ever.
Ever.
I actually didn't get this at Ollie's.
Oh, really?
No, I actually got it at, like, believe it or not, a Barnes & Noble or a Books A Million. It was on sale.
Oh, wow.
I still only paid like $9 for it.
Yep.
Originally, it was like $100, but yeah, Marvelosity, great stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Ross is fantastic. I was just kidding, but again,
good cover. Way to cover them bases.
But I'd rather look at J. Scott Campbell than Alex Ross.
I'd rather look at John Byrne.
I'd rather look at.
I'd rather look at my mirror, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I'd rather look at.
You don't have to look at me that way.
I'd rather look at. Oh my God!
There you go.
Hey, by the way,
there you go. That's better to look at for me.
There you go. All right.
What about
George Perez, man?
How about him? You like his work?
George Perez.
Anthony Adam Hughes.
Yes, I love Adam Hughes.
Yes.
Look at them guns.
And, who I like? You know who I like better?
Dodson.
You know, that's exactly what I was going to say. Dodson, I actually prefer over Hughes, especially since I saw Dodson's process. I thought he was digital, but he does everything by hand, and it's fantastic.
That's nice.
Which one? Which Dodson? Rachel?
No, Terry, but he works with Rachel. They work together.
For me, I love a lot of the majority of their work, but every now and again they'll throw that dud in there.
Yep.
But for the most part, awesome.
I read, what is it, Adventure Man?
Yes.
Sequential 5-issue series from Image, I believe, that came out during the pandemic. If you see it collected, get it. It's really entertaining. Right. And also, again, talk about a good story that checks all those diversity boxes and things like that. But also is just a good story, and everybody looks attractive in it. Mm-hmm. So, with that said, that's pretty much the theme of the night. These three attractive hosts talking about attractive women and men in comic books. And to be honest with you, I'd like to thank Agent de Camp and Simply Incredible podcast, Simply Incredible One, appearing tonight. My name is Anthony Sika. I would like to wish you all well. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay sexy. And remember, I am Starfire.
And don't forget to back Misty America for 90s style, black and white, bad girl, badass action, only on Indiegogo.
That's right. The link is in the bottom, and I won't bore you all by sharing the Indiegogo screen. But please, while you're watching the replay and you're thinking, what the fuck did I just watch? Please go back my book. I want to reach $1,000 so I can print some hats. And I'll offer some hats. They're gonna be red, white, and blue trucker hats with a white front with Misty America's red, white, and blue logo right on the front.
Sounds awesome.
I know everybody wants a hat like that, but I want to make $1,000 so I can pay for everything on the book, all the posters, the trading cards, the books. I make a little money on the side so I can go sit up at a show and I can go order hats, because I've been a creator for 2 years. And every goddamn book that I put out, and I put out 6 of them in 2 years during a pandemic, and they cost money, and I put them all out from my wallet before ever printing, before ever selling a copy. And I've been breaking even, kind of, but I need some help. So please back Misty America. And with that,